Hello, everybody. It's Collette from the Sacred Rose Temple, and I'm here to give you this week's energy forecast. I'm a little late as I spent some valuable time this weekend with a dear old friend, and now I have come to feeling into this energy transition we're in today, which has been pretty big for me. I'm ready to report about what we're going to expect ahead of this week. Well, we can't ignore the fact that today is the 7 of the 7, 2025. And it really is a deep day because Uranus enters Gemini. And this is a historic transit because Uranus is the planet of revolution, radical truth, and awakening. And it enters Gemini, which is the sign of communication, duality, the nervous system, and the mind. And this has not happened since it happened last in 1941. And that was a huge time of technological upheaval, invention, and deep shifts in the collective unconscious. So I think we can expect the same. I've been really feeling this about the technological aspect of our changing humanity, and I've been really sat with it. I wrote about Sophia and AI and the intellect of our universal consciousness. And I know that we get pretty frightened about new technology, and that's been the case since anything new comes in. It challenges us, it shakes us, and advancement in technology is really being seen in our collective at the moment. And I think what we need to remember is that the advancement of technology is within the framework of advancement of humans and God. And that nothing for me, because I'm so deeply connected to God, is outside of the remit of God. There's nothing outside of God's work. There is that consciousness of the one mind of God. I think God is the easiest word to frame it. So we are an understanding of what I'm trying to talk about. We might all call it different things and feel it in different ways, but the whole of our world is of this consciousness. So everything is included. And I believe that everything that's included in this consciousness is a test for us as humans. Nothing is evil or bad unless that we have unresolved shadow. When we have unresolved shadow, that's seen in our collective. When we have unresolved shadows as individuals, technology holds that unresolved shadow and everything else. So whenever we feel a fear of something, I think it's a deep invitation to come into ourselves and say, what is that fear? What are we scared of? And that very fear might be part of something within our own self that we need to address, change, and advance. I know for me, I had a really big shift of understanding about technology some months ago, and quite recently through dreams and analysis, really received this body of work about female technologies and the future of female technology and the feminine body being a vessel of cosmic technology. So I'm going to be delivering that in the next couple of weeks. But it gave me really great insight. And that's what this transition is going to do. And I get why I had it. I always feel like I just have like a little bit step of ahead because I've declared myself as a teacher and a deliverer and an oracle. So I always get a little bit of a forward insight. And so I understand what is happening with this Uranus entering Gemini is that psychospiritually, we're going to be getting sudden insights and mental upgrades. I don't want to use the word upgrade in a woo-woo way. I want to use upgrade as though like it's like our mind connects to something that we weren't aware of before or that we weren't conscious of, and our mind finally catches up to what's going on. So be aware that there might be just some aha moments or your brain, your mental faculty catching up with what's going on within our collective. That's also going to stimulate our nervous system. And I believe that we have a nervous system activation. This is either going to, if you're not regulating your nervous system, and I highly recommend that you learn techniques to self regulate your nervous system. I'm always teaching these in my women's groups, in my yoga classes. The ability to regulate our nervous system is super important because what we're going to see this week, particularly, is inspiration flooding through our nervous system or anxiety. And if it's anxiety, then what we truly need to do. I had a pretty anxious week at the beginning of this week, at the beginning of the weekend. And I do believe that I had to really sit with myself and sit in space and time so that I was able to understand exactly what this anxiety was. And today I'm feeling pretty inspired. So really begin to feel that if anxiety comes up, what is it? What is it showing yourself? We can convert that to inspiration. There's an inner dialogue that's within you that is trying to be rewritten. What are the same things that you've been telling yourself? I had this conversation with a dear friend this weekend about it's all right for us to keep telling ourselves certain things, but they might not be true. Maybe we're saying those things because of the ego. Maybe we're saying those things to defend ourselves. Maybe we're saying those things to defend and protect. Can you rewrite an inner dialogue? Can you call yourself out? It's going to be key this week. And if you are able and have known how to work with the shadow or to minimize or make establish the ego so that it's more established in the body, and I don't mean in a way that's defensive, it will allow you to be able to look at yourself and change a belief or rewrite what you have held as truth into, okay, I might have been wrong there, or maybe I'm not like that. Those kind of statements are really going to help you this week. It is also a rewiring of how we learn, speak, relate. Think about that. How have you learned in the past? How have you spoken out? How have you related in the past? Change it, change it. This is a new time. If it didn't work in the past, why are you still doing it? Why are you still relating in the same way? Why are you still speaking in the same way? Why are you still learning in the ways that have tripped you up and actually haven't allowed you to embody things? Change them. And finally, in that rewiring is the transmission of truth. Are you truly being truthful? Do you honestly stand up and speak your mind and share? Are you scared of the repercussions of speaking your mind? Do you still hold back? How do you offer yourself as a vehicle in this Uranus Gemini energy as a transmission of truth? This is going to activate an inner archetypes, and I love the archetypes, as you know, of the messenger, the scribe, and the oracle. They are awakening these archetypes, messengers, scribes, oracles, those of us that are relaying our messages. So for me, orally, maybe in a written way, maybe I have to think about how I deliver these messages in a new way. So that would help with the written, but are you embodying any of those archetypes, messenger, scribe, oracle? I am currently in the stage now of recording for Shift Network for my new course, which will include oracular work. So, is that a skill inside you want to harness? Do you want to open up as a woman, if you're a woman listening to this, to your oracular skills? What are you doing about that? So, it's time to think of those things. This transit is going to speed up the timelines. We're going to feel like we're getting new psychic channels. Maybe your awareness, maybe your dreams become more vivid. Maybe your knowing or your intuition or your ability to speak truth are growing. Because what this timeline does is actually amplify the voice of feminine seer, especially anybody of you who have got Mercury or Moon in the air signs. So think about that, the voice of the feminine seer. That's pretty, incredible. That portal is open today. It is going to really pull you into mind, body, soul. You might feel a little mentally overstimulated. I really suggest that you become the oracular energy in this today. And that's why I'm recording, regardless of taking the day off. just to report this because it feels super important to do in this opening that I am the channel. I'm saying something that is important, and maybe we're saying something that has been silenced for a long time. So really allow that silencing to no longer be held in you. Speak out in places that you need to speak out. The technology is also going to come up for a recleansing, a rewritten, a movement. So today will be a great day to cleanse your phone, remove photographs, get rid of old people, old partners, old lovers, get them away from your social media, get rid of friends that you're no longer in relation with, like clear up, make space, prepare your technology, your computer for new work, new transmissions coming in. It's going to be pretty powerful for you to say, like, I want to upgrade. I just did something with AI this week. I upgraded and was like, okay, it's time for me to embrace this and stop being in fear about it and face it. Because remember being like this about the internet, time to take hold of it and use it in the correct way, in a sacred way, in a way that isn't shadow, and to check myself out on that as I do that. So that's just an example. There will be lots of, like I said, nervous system purification. Really purify the body and let the body release the nervousness and all the pent-up anxiety and the things that are being still stored there so that you can digest what's new that wants to come in. And that might make your body feel a little bit weird. I got a little bit sick over the weekend. I was very headachy and I was very dizzy and I needed to rest. And I really feel that I needed to create space in my body for what's going to come for me this week. So notice that you might feel that way. I strongly am feeling the importance of magnesium as a supplement as we move through this. And I always recommend all my clients, somatic clients and yoga clients, to take a good dose of magnesium before they sleep at night. It really, really allows our body to integrate and settle and soften and relax. But I'm also feeling that lemon balm might be really useful in this. And I've made a poultice actually of lemon balm, and I'm sat here drinking lemon balm tea. So feel that they might be of some aid to you. Also have a technological detox. Put your phone away at night. Like stop doom scrolling. Just feel how that might aid you bring some better things into your life. That's going to be important to think about how you use technology. How are you using it? Where's your shadow with your technology use? Are you relying on it uh, to soothe your nervous system? Are you using it to get your cortisol hits and your dopamine? Are you using technology in a negative way instead of having a creative life and a life with your partner or your family? I was at the airport today just watching everybody in their phones. No one was talking. And I was like, wow, like today's like this liberation, put your phones away, talk to one another. So think about how you use technology, and is it liberating? Is it advancing you and your creativity and your work, or is it inhibiting? And try and be as truthful as you can with yourself about that, because I know that will be difficult. I need to stop doom scrolling, like go on to post with my work, and I make that as an excuse, but really truly I'm also flicking, and I need to stop doing that as much so we can all be really truthful about technology, and that technology isn't the problem, but how we use it, that is. And if we're all not looking at our own shadows, then we are going to collaborate in a massive shadow technological age. So let's look at our own selves. I think that is going to allow us to speak out, like to say to our sons, our daughters, our lovers, like, put your phone away. Let's talk. Like, you're addicted to technology. We're not using it in the right way. That's going to be that truth element that needs to come through and allowing us to listen to each other. Like, do we really listen? Are we just going on our phone for the next conversation? Are we on our phones when someone's speaking? I think it's really paramount this week to take a good look at ourselves. The Venus trine Neptune and Uranus in Gemini is just an exquisite energy that comes on the 12th for channeling art, poetry, healing words, soft, sensual, it's transcendent, but it's really, really bloody powerful. And I'm really feeling that the archetype of the muse or the siren or being the voice of the mother line. I said that today to someone like, we are the women, we are the front line of our feminine lineage. What are we doing with that? Are we being the channel activation for that feminine line? Are we being soft and sensual and transcendent? Are we being creative? How are we using that feminine energy? So going to be important that we address this. And as we move into the weekend, just really feeling how all of these things, truth speaking, looking at our technology, bringing the feminine through, is asking for it to have a new voice, to get rid of maybe old peacekeeping patterns where we just silence ourselves or don't say anything because we want to keep the peace, but really it doesn't keep the peace. It allows dysfunction, shadow behavior, it builds resentment in us. So notice where we're still afraid to disrupt harmony, where we don't want to speak out because we think it might be too much or that we might just create a little bit of chaos or disrupt the quiet. It really is, as the weekend approaches, the time to be thinking about anchoring in your truth through beauty, ritual, conversation, changing behaviors. So it's a turning point. I think the whole week this week is the ability to bring a new mythos, a new beginning to your life, to rewrite the myth that your life is. And you're invited to awaken the feminine voice of wisdom within you. If you don't really know what that means or how you do that, I highly recommend you do a course so that you know what the steps are to do that. How do I awaken that within me? What is holding me back from awakening that? And as I say, I'm running this feminine technologies course, which is about the feminine technology of the human body, of the feminine temple, and how we bring our oracle and how we bring our energy so that we are in alignment with future technology, so that we're not fearing of it, that we're running with it in a way that's deeply empowering for the feminine, discerning, and in the light. So if you feel called to join me on the feminine technologies, it's a 1 hour class and you're going to get a PDF to help you with the 5 key points of that class. And I am going to be opening a bigger body of work with regards to that. But please come to this taster session to really see what it's about. I'll put the link in this YouTube video. Also, with the regards to my up and coming shift network, it's going to be a really powerful course. My other courses were mind-blowingly amazing, and I'm super humble and grateful for the women that came and the engagement and the feedback I've had. I'm still getting feedback, which I'll be sharing. And I just invite you all, if you really want to step in, you women who are really being called up to step in service as the ancient woman in a modern time, as a body of advanced technology, come hither, gather with us because we're ready to walk through this future, not in fear, but in total sovereignty, that the advancement of technology lies within the feminine body. Hurrah, I say. So I invite it all in. And I really am appreciative for you all that show up to these podcasts. That they're growing each week in followers, and the comments that you share under this video are much appreciated. And the comments you send as inboxes and via email. I totally, truly appreciate your feedback. Even if it doesn't agree with me, I'm happy to hear your beliefs, or if you feel that what I'm saying isn't in alignment, like share. I really encourage that we do that. And just to know that I'm very grateful for you in my life being connected to me in this vibrational field. And I bow deeply to the work you're all doing as women in this collective and the men who listen. I'm sending you all much love and gratitude and holding you in the highest regard as we move through this really important week. Bye for now.